Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We're live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on Talk4TV.com, W4WN.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about unlocking the power of connection for an inspired and empowered life, part 4. That's how important this topic is. We're doing part 4, and it's all about connection. Imagine a life where you are not just existing, but you're truly thriving, where your relationships are meaningful, and your self-love propels you forward. This is the life you deserve, and it all starts with the art of connection. And today we'll be exploring more about the art of connection. And I see that we have Allie in the house. Welcome, Allie. So, first, I want to start off with, we've been talking about this topic for the last few weeks, and at the end of last show, Misty had a comment. Hopefully Misty's here, and she had a comment, and I want to start off with that comment so that we can continue on where we left off last week. Misty asked, or actually she commented, one issue is the need to be aware that it is a pattern or habit. Many don't accept that. Okay, so what we were talking about last week is in connection. When you start connecting with yourself, one of the first steps that's really, really important is the being able to have conscious awareness. So being able to have conscious awareness of a habit or a pattern is really important. And what Misty was actually saying is that a lot of people either don't want to be aware of any habits or patterns, or they may become aware of it and they may not want to do anything about it. And here's the thing. You can't make someone change their habits or patterns. The only thing that you can do is change your habits or patterns. And they may not want to be aware, but the truth is that if they're not, then I would support you, and we've talked about this in past shows, is to keep sending a lot of healing, light, and love and prayers, because we can't control other people or how they're going to respond or what they want or what they don't want, but we can pray for them, and we can ask that they become more aware. So your major thing is for you to become aware of what it is what's going on for you. What are your habits? What are your patterns that you may or may not want to change? And you're a choice. You are at choice whether you want to change something or not. And I'm going to do my quick Psych 101 so that we're on the same page, which will weave into this question. So you have your conscious mind, and your conscious mind is the part of you that becomes conscious or aware of a habit or pattern. Your conscious mind empowers you to make a decision of what you are choosing to change or choosing not to change. But remember, the choice is yours. And that even in that choice, making a conscious choice. Now, eventually, I hope that all of you, if it's something that's destructive or hurtful for you, I really would hope that you would want to eventually make the changes. And as you connect with yourself more deeply, as you find out and discover more of who you are, you may decide that you want to make those changes more easily. Now, your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time that's recorded all of the beliefs, limiting beliefs and positive beliefs, emotions, all of the emotions that you've had. And your job is to uncover those limiting beliefs and emotions that would block you from moving forward in your life and having an inspired and empowered life. Now, here's the thing. Bottom line is again your choice. But when you're in a habitual pattern, and this is where the power of connection becomes very important. When you're in a habitual pattern or habit, you're running on the subconscious mind. You may not be aware. You may not totally own it or be in awareness. You may be in denial of it. As you start becoming aware of the pattern, and this is part of what Misty's question was, as you start becoming more aware of the pattern, you then have the power to make the changes that you seek. So it's really important. And we got Misty there. Okay. So Misty asks, how can we break the subconscious habits? So going along with what she commented on last week. So how can you break the subconscious habits? So I'm going to give a little with the art of connection. Now, many of you were asking, where do you begin? And along with Misty's question, so just to also add, with the subconscious mind, it may also come from ancestral patterning and also past life. And you can take or leave past life. But personally, I do believe it because I believe we're so much more than who we really even know that we are on a conscious level. And then you have your superconscious mind. And your superconscious mind is that part of you, your higher self. Everyone has a higher self. And it's that wise, unconditionally loving part of you. And your soul, who is that core energy characteristic of who you are. And so let's talk about where do you begin? And this weaves into Misty's question of how can we break the subconscious habit? So the first thing that needs to happen is having the awareness. Because if you don't have the awareness, and I see another question came in, and I'll get to that shortly. If you don't have the awareness that there is a pattern involved here, see, that's the first most important thing, because you can't change something you're not aware of. There's no way to make a change if you're not aware of what needs to be changed. So the first step is becoming aware of what needs to be changed. So if you have that awareness, you know there's a subconscious habit or pattern. The next thing that's really important is to become aware of what that pattern or habit is serving you, what perhaps or what its meaning is, where it originated. So there's a few possibilities, or all of the above. And as you learn more about that habit or pattern and what happens for you around it. And I'll give you an example. When I was a smoker, cigarette smoker, and I knew it was a bad habit, and I knew that I had that psychological and physical addiction to the nicotine. But I knew it was bad for me, but I kept on doing it. So why would I keep on doing something? And that's the thing with habits and patterns. Very often, you know they're not helpful to you, but you keep on doing it because somehow they have a purpose. There's a reason why you're doing it. And one of the most powerful ways to heal it is to understand what the purpose is, and then to discover and then to start healing that. So for me, cigarette smoking was like a comfort. It was like a friend, and I'm putting that in quotes. Like, for those of you who are listening, I'm doing the quote thing, and I'm doing the quotes because it wasn't a friend and it wasn't comforting. It was actually destructive. But it was something that at that point, I didn't have other coping mechanisms. And there's a key. Learning to have other coping mechanisms, healthier coping mechanisms, to replace the habits and patterns that are not healthy for you. So those are the ways you can start changing those subconscious habits, is becoming consciously aware, learning and understanding the purpose, and then working on healing and finding other coping tools, other coping skills. And that's a lot of what I do with clients, is finding new coping skills, new tools to help. And one of those tools we talked about is breath work, breathing. And as you breathe, it helps you make that connection with yourself. When you start making the deeper connection with yourself, what happens is you start liking and loving yourself more. As you start liking and loving yourself more, the things that used to work for you may not work anymore, because you start saying, you know what? I love myself too much. And that's kind of what was happening for me. I kept working on healing those patterns of what was the reason that I was smoking. And I kept working on it. And I will tell you, it took a few times. Smoking was one of the harder patterns, harder habits that I had, that I quit. And I quit for, let's say, a couple of years, then I'd start again, then I quit again, then I start. And finally, it was at a point where I was taking a class. I was learning to love myself more. I was clearing the energy of what wasn't working for me. And I finally made the decision. And I know that I got help from higher power, source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. I do believe that's the superconscious mind, that there is a benevolent force that's here to help us and support us. And that force helped me to finally let go of cigarette smoking. And now I consider myself a non-smoker. I will share this story with you. It was really interesting. I always wondered if I ever want to go back to smoking if I ever got tempted. And a few years after I quit, I was with a friend who was still smoking, and she offered me a cigarette, and I took a drag, and I was like, ugh. And at that moment, I considered myself a non-smoker. I had really healed the unconscious, subconscious patterns for that behavior and created new coping skills and new tools so I didn't need it anymore. And that's how you heal the subconscious habits. So we'll get to the next question from Country Corners Gazette. But how do we let go of the past life baggage we keep dragging along with us? So, what happens is when I'm doing work with clients, and I do a lot of past life clearing in my own life and with clients, and those subconscious patterns and habits may come up, and they may have roots in past life stuff. So I have a few tools that I work with when I'm working with a client. Now, one of the tools that I use is hypnosis, and I can take somebody on a regression, or a journey to regress to a past life to heal it. Or I do have other tools. And also, when I'm working with a client, what happens is I usually get the intuitive hit. Oh, there's something from a past life that we need to clear. So that information is in your subconscious mind. It's there, but you may not always be aware of it because, like I said, and I've said this on other shows, if we can't be totally aware of everything that's going on in our subconscious mind, we wouldn't be able to function consciously in present time. But what happens is you start getting information and tidbits as you start asking questions, as you start opening and allowing yourself to make that deeper connection with yourself, so that you start getting information that can help you uncover the baggage from this lifetime, from other lifetimes, and from even ancestors that you may have that you're carrying. Now, all of this is part of what I do when I'm working with people in individual sessions or in groups. So it's really about asking those questions. And you can ask the questions like, is there something that I'm carrying? And you can ask your higher self or your soul or your spirit guides or angels for help and assistance in uncovering the baggage from other lifetimes or from your ancestors. So then you can ask for the clearing and the healing of it. So that's part of what you can do to uncover those energies. Now, sometimes you can do it easily and it can be cleared easily, and sometimes you need assistance and support from someone else. So it really depends on what the pattern and habit is and how you need help or clearing. So we'll go to the next question. Mickey says, I quit cold turkey. I was never addicted to smoking. I enjoyed smoking. I can smoke one here and there. So, Mickey, I really want to acknowledge you for being able to quit and being able to make that conscious choice, and also to not get like sucked back in if you have a cigarette here and there. So, really want to acknowledge you for being able to do that. Congratulations. Misty says, is this baggage in our DNA or otherwise? So, yeah, actually, it is in our DNA. It is in our auric field, our energy field. It's in our chakras, and chakras are energies. They're energies. They're energies along your spine. There's 7 major chakras, and these energy centers rule every aspect of our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual life. So, those energies that I'm talking about are in your energy field, they're in your auric field, they're in your chakras, and they're in your DNA. Yes. The answer to that question is yes. So, it's about learning to uncover the baggage or the issues so that you can then work on healing and clearing them. And one of the ways you can do that is also through writing. Like at the top of the page, ask a question. What is baggage, or what is the purpose of this habit or pattern? What is it I need to know about this habit or pattern? And then allow yourself to just write and breathe and write and write and journal. Don't think, just write. Because what happens is you want to be able to allow yourself to move the energy. So, going back to other things that you can do to make that deeper connection with yourself, okay, is I'm going to support each of you to start some type of daily practice. Some type of daily practice where you're making a connection with yourself. Ideally, if you can do it in the morning, that's a great time to start, because the morning, then you're kind of setting up your day. Not kind of, you are setting up your day. And what I say is you want to start your day in a positive way. So finding a practice that works for you. Now, sometimes you may combine different ones, and daily practices where you can start. You can start with meditation, and there are many types of meditation, including self-meditation, or you can, like, staring at a candle, a flame, and breathing, focusing on your breath, or guided meditation. Personally, I love guided meditations. That's why I create guided meditations. I love guided meditations because guided meditations help being able to be in that energy, following a voice, following a sound. Would that hurt your eyes? Country Corners Gazette. So, staring into a flame, obviously, you want to be far enough from the flame so that you're not hurting yourself. Okay, so that's important. This is about self care. But what happens is when you are far enough away from the flame and you're not going to hurt yourself, or by the heat, but you put it far enough away and you watch the flame flicker. And you watch it flicker. I used to do that. I used to try that. sometimes. And what happens is you go into a meditative, and you may end up, what happens is sometimes your eyes get heavy and you may want to close your eyes. And so it's about watching the flicker of the flame. They say not to look into the sun. Would looking at a flame hurt your eyes? Okay, so yes, you don't want to be looking into the sun, but looking at a flame in a far enough distance doesn't have to hurt your eyes. It's a form of a meditative practice. And if you start feeling drowsy, or you feel like your eyes start closing. Now, if you're not comfortable, use a fake flame. You know, those fake flames now. We have the fake flames. So you can use a fake candle flame and you watch it flicker. You can try that. So this is ultimately, I want all of you, I make suggestions, but ultimately you need to do what feels comfortable and right for you. See, that's about you connecting with you to see what works and what doesn't. So if the flame staring into a candle doesn't feel so great, you can actually stare at any object, really, and breathe. I mean, breathing is a tool that helps you go into a relaxed state of body and mind. And also hypnosis, self-hypnosis. Now, again, the intentions of hypnosis and meditation are different, but you may want to start your day with self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis is you're going into a trance state. You put yourself into a trance state, and then you may be making positive suggestions to yourself. So you're doing something that will really help and support you. Meditation, you're working on relaxing yourself, working on mindfulness, working on connecting more deeply to yourself so that you're making that deeper connection. So starting your day in a positive way is a powerful way to start connecting more deeply with yourself. And it could be meditation or self-hypnosis. It could be connecting with your body, using your breath. It could be going out in nature and taking a walk, but being mindful and really noticing. Because sometimes if you're in your head and you are in thinking mode, you are not connecting with yourself. You're actually in your head in the past or the future. And in thinking mode, it's learning how to come out of thinking mode and into your body, working with your breath, making that connection with yourself. And another way to make a connection is the journaling. That's another way. So I want to share with you, I have a meditation that you can easily download. And this meditation can help you make a deeper connection with yourself. It's clearing the energies, connecting with your higher self, and then tuning in to, if you have a decision, what decision to make. So you would go to inspired and empowered living.com/meditation, meditation. So inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. The name of the show, .com/meditation. And you can download that meditation. And Rebel, can you put it in the chats, in the different chats? And you can download that meditation, and it can really support you in making that deeper connection with yourself. So definitely want to support you. Now, another way, thank you, Rebel. The meditation is in the chat. So if you go to, if you are listening, you can go to one of the stations, Talk for TV, W4WN, my YouTube channel, and the link will be there so that you can access it. Okay. So you have meditation and prayer. Prayer is another way to make that connection with yourself. You can also have yoga. Yoga is another way to make that connection with yourself. And visualization, positive, inspirational reading can help support you to feel more positive. You know you're in that connection mode. See, this is the thing. When you make the connection with yourself, now you may have a feeling that you need to feel. Sometimes I will tell you, when I've connected with myself and I'm feeling maybe a little down or sad, and I'm not really sure why, and then I realize and I start to feel the grief. And it may be an anniversary of a loved one passing or their birthday, or it may be something else. And then what happens is I start to become aware of something else that's creating that sadness. And I allow myself to cry, acknowledge it, because the more you can acknowledge your feelings, that's part of making the connection with yourself. The more that you can acknowledge your feelings, and then you can feel them, not hurting yourself, someone else, or the environment. You feel the feeling and you let it go. You then can shift your energy to a state of feeling more peace, relaxed, love, joy, gratitude. Those are the states of your soul and your higher self. Those are the states that you are working, that you want to move towards, so that you can have a more inspired and empowered life. Now, I have another thing that I want to support you is in connecting with nature. Making a connection with nature is a powerful tool. Being able to go outside and really feel the energy, watch a sunrise or a sunset, and whether you're at the beach or in the mountains, or you're sniffing the flowers in a garden, whatever you're doing, really work on being present with the experience of being in nature, really making that connection. You know, the saying, take time to smell the roses. So I'm telling you to take time to smell the flowers, to watch the sunsets. And yes, Country Corners Gazette, I love it. They said It feels so good to walk barefoot on the ground. Yes, that is a powerful way to make connection with yourself and with the earth. And that brings up a good point, which is grounding. The more that you can ground, and one of the ways is walking barefoot. And walking barefoot on the grass or the sand, at the water's edge of an ocean or a lake, feeling the sand and feeling the water at your feet. Really allowing yourself to become present to the sensations and the feelings helps bring you into present time and helps you feel more grounded. You know when you're grounded, when you're connecting with the earth. I was doing a workshop last night and somebody said, earthing. We go to the Gulf, Country Corners Gazette. Yep, we go to the Gulf. They go to the Gulf. Well, because you're right there. I think, what are you in Louisiana? I think you're in Louisiana, right on the Gulf. So makes sense. Definitely go into the Gulf. Mississippi. Okay, you're in Mississippi. All right. So definitely being able to go to the Gulf or to the ocean. I get to go to the Atlantic Ocean in Long Island because I'm in New York, and it's really powerful to witness the ocean. And then I heard people who live by Great Lakes. I was having a conversation with someone over the summer, and we were talking about the Great Lakes. And the Great Lakes, it looks like an ocean because it goes on and on and on. That's why it's called the Great Lake. So there's so many places to make that connection. And so what they were saying last night is earthing. You know you're grounding when you can feel the earth. You're feeling the connection, your feet in connection with the earth. And breathe. Your body. That's why when I help myself ground, I feel my breath and I feel my feet. Now, you may be inside. If you're inside, you can be barefoot and feel, let's say, wooden floors or the tile. If you're wearing socks, you may want to take off your socks, or you may not. Even feel the energy of the ground below you. All of that helps you make a connection and finding yourself making a connection. So I have, and this is really important about making a connection also. This is really, really important. And it's becoming aware of how you are talking with yourself. Are you talking positively to yourself, positive self-talk, or are you beating yourself up, putting yourself down? And it's really important to start learning how to have that positive self-talk. And thinking about, like, for example, I'll give you an example. And I see the question came in as soon as I finish what I'm saying. Like, for example, instead of saying, I can't do this, perhaps you can imagine yourself saying, I'm willing to learn, or let me work on trying, or let me learn, let me be in the process. Let me try it. See what happens. And maybe even say to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. Now, you may have to work through some stuff before you can say that, but at least you can be in the process of working on learning, growing, healing, changing. All of that is part of the process. Okay, Misty, I see that you have a question that came in. What we go to the rivers, lake, and state parks. Yep. So Yeah, whatever, wherever. So going to the rivers, that's right, rivers. I said lakes and ocean, but I didn't say rivers. So thank you for that. Because rivers are really powerful too. And then there's the waterfalls. We have river falls, river and waterfalls, river falls. I love it. And state parks. Yes, definitely go to your state parks because that's a way to find and to connect with that nature. Definitely want to support all of you to really can make that connection to nature and continue the self-talk. First thing is become aware of what you are saying to yourself. Now, if you're saying, oh, I'm so stupid, if you made a mistake, I'm so stupid. I've had this very often with clients. And I say, okay, instead of beating yourself up and calling yourself stupid, what can you learn from this mistake? Turn it around and use it as a learning opportunity and say, okay, I made this mistake. And what can I learn from this? Now, if you felt like you hurt someone, you said something that you later regret, then you may want to apologize or make amends. Instead of calling yourself stupid, find the ways to turn that around and learn from the experience. Understand, because what I really want to support all of you in remembering, none of us are stupid. We are all on this journey together and learning and growing, especially you listening to the show. You're on a journey to create a more inspired and empowered life. And you are so much more than you can even imagine. And I really want to acknowledge you for being here, for learning, for growing, and for changing your life in bigger ways and smaller ways. Every step counts. So we are, so really, let me just go over making the connection with yourself, starting your day in a positive way. The first step in connection is the awareness, is having the awareness, being able to have the awareness that you are, that there's a habit, a pattern, or self-talk, which all is habits and patterns. Become aware. First step, making that deeper connection with yourself. Once you become aware and become conscious of the habit, the pattern, the behavior, the way that you're talking to yourself, then you can start doing something about it. You can help make deeper connection with yourself by starting your morning. And you can do it in the evening too, before you go to sleep at night, or sometime when you get home from work. Your choice of how you make that connection, but finding the way. Because the deeper that you connect and the more you connect with yourself, it's a powerful, exciting, amazing journey to get to know you and to open to more consciousness. Starting your day or being in the day where you're meditating or praying or being in nature, breathing, using your breath, finding new coping skills, positive self-talk. All of those are powerful ways to make that deeper connection with yourself. And I want to support all of you in knowing that you can do it. I believe in you. And I believe that you're moving towards having that inspired and empowered life. So we'll be live in a couple of weeks. Join us. And for more inspired and empowered living. Again, thank you for joining us. So grateful to all of you that were in the chat and letting me know that you're there. And thank you to all of you, whether you're listening live or viewing live or at a later time. Thank you all for being here. And we're live on Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, my YouTube channel. And you can listen to the podcast 24/7 on iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and Amazon. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Country Corners Gazette. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Thank you for thanking me. So grateful. And I want to wish you all an inspired and empowered week and an inspired and empowered day. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.